Hi. For today's history video, we'll talk about the Electoral College, how it came to be, what it does, why it stays in existence, which party it would benefit if they got rid of it. The Electoral College was set up originally to be a real body of elders and smart people and national leaders who would meet and choose the president. The original framers did not intend direct popular election of the president. In fact, they didn't even provide for direct popular election of the electors who voted for president. Most states chose their electors by the state legislature. Only one or two did popular votes, so 3 or 4 of the 13. And it wasn't until the Jackson administration that most states moved over to direct election of the presidential electors. And the idea was that they'd all meet together, and in their wisdom, they would choose the best man for president. And of course, they had in mind George Washington, who won it unanimously, and the only person ever to do so. Monroe also won it unanimously, but one elector voted against him, so only George Washington would have that honor. Now, the Electoral College consists of the entire state's congressional delegation. So if you're a small state with one congressman, you get 3 electoral votes, 2 senators plus your congressman. If you're a big state like Florida, you get 29 electoral votes, 27 congressmen plus your 2 senators. So obviously what the Electoral College does is it biases in favor of small, largely thinly populated states because they get 3 votes, whereas proportionally they really only would get 1. And that, interestingly, though, really is not in favor of one party or the other. They're about even. You have states like North Dakota and South Dakota and Montana that are largely Republican states that have only 1 congressman. But then on the other hand, you have Delaware and Vermont and a couple of other states that are, Washington, D.C., that are just 1 electoral vote. So ultimately, the Electoral College really favors small states, but it doesn't necessarily have a partisan skew to it. The main purpose of the Electoral College in modern times is that it takes a popular vote that often is very close, and it produces an electoral victory that's rather lopsided, that makes the winner self-evident. And that's largely because of the way it works. It's a winner-take-all by state. And therefore, if you carry California by a little bit, you get all 50-odd electoral votes that the state has. So even if you have slight popular margins, you have much larger margins than the Electoral College. Now, of course, all that went haywire in 2000, when the guy who won the popular vote, Al Gore, defeated Bush by 500,000 popular votes, but Bush won the electoral vote because he won the state of Florida's electoral votes. And that really produced a fundamental distortion, I believe, in our democracy. I don't know whether Florida should have gone for Bush or for Gore. The New York Times did a study and found that Gore probably carried the state. But the point is that Gore won the popular vote. And from that point of view, he should have been president. We should be electing presidents based on the popular vote. That's what a democracy is all about. But we don't do it that way. Now, the process has become even more distorted because in the 1992 campaign, Bill Clinton had a very interesting new idea. Instead of buying advertising nationwide, so he'd be on CBS and NBC and ABC from coast to coast, he chose not to do that and to take about half of his money and spend it on individual swing states. And that was really a device to manipulate the Electoral College system. And in 1996, all of his time was bought state by state. And by 2000, both parties were doing that. And right now, neither Romney nor Obama has run one advertisement in New York, for example, or in New Jersey, or nationally. All of their ads have been focused on the 13 battleground states. So it is conceivable, because of that you could actually lose the popular vote by a couple of points and win the election in the Electoral College because you've been hitting the core states, but the swing states. But that's very hard to do. When you do mathematical modelings of it, if you carry the popular vote by more than half a point, you're pretty well guaranteed of an Electoral College majority. It's just the way the system shakes out and the way that the statistics shape out. And interestingly enough, right now, despite the two parties having spent almost $250 million, $250 million, advertising in those 13 swing states, the head-to-head in those 13 states combined is just about the same as the head-to-head in the national poll numbers, maybe 1 or 2 points off. So it's interesting that even there's not the disruption. Should we get rid of the Electoral College? Yeah. Will we? No. Because the small states find their power increased by that, just like they do in the United States Senate. We'll never have the Senate based on proportional representation like the House is. So that's the story. Hope you enjoyed the video.